Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Lakers Talk with Gerald. This is the first time that I'm doing a video on YouTube and I'm posting it. I've been doing my podcast now for the last month and a half. I'm very new to it, but it's something that I've been very excited about. Lakers Talk with Gerald. Lakers have been my passion for the last 30 years. Big time fan. If you've been listening to my podcast so far, you've already been knowing that I've already done 13 episodes prior to this one. This is actually podcast episode number 14. This is going to be YouTube episode number 1. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you for coming here. You see my smile. That smile doesn't mean give you a status of how the Lakers did last night. We're going to get into that, but I just want to kind of talk about and set up this game before we even get to it, okay? So the Lakers, last time we talked, the Lakers had played the Golden State Warriors on Christmas Day. We got our Christmas presents. Everybody. But we got our Christmas presents from the Lakers Christmas Day. I said in my last podcast, all I wanted was one thing. I wanted the Lakers to get that W. And guess what? They end up getting that W. We got the win. I was very excited about that. The big spoiler, LeBron James got hurt, that he strained or pulled a groin muscle. At first they were saying, oh, it's just a strain. It's not a big deal. That type of stuff. He's going to be back in no time. Great. I'm excited for that. I'm happy for it, but I'm a realist at the same time. And we heard him say, I felt something pop. Okay? So what does that mean? When you feel something pop, when it comes to a muscle, that's usually not going to be a strain, or it's not going to be a small strain, something that's going to be real quick. So I'm not a doctor or anything. I just know, that doesn't sound quite right. And, MRI came back and said that it was just a strain. But later on, I ended up hearing that it was a significant strain. Don't ask me what the difference is, but to me, that sounds like he's going to be out some weeks. So last podcast, I talked about what does that mean for the Lakers? What does that mean going forward? I talked about young guys got to step up. Talked about the veterans going to have to step up. Talked about, the guys that want to come out and be superstars or stars. This is their platform now to come out and do that. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kuzma, Josh Hart, even Ivica Zubac. I mean, they're all going to have to come out. They're all going to have to show up. I said Rajon Rondo he was one of the most important factors to us staying afloat while LeBron is out. Because the Western Conference is just so deep, and that guy provides that leadership. He knows how to run the offense. He knows how to do what we need to do to stay afloat. When tough, when things get tough, when the bright lights and things like that, he knows how to calm the team down. So I was partially excited about how the Lakers are going to play without LeBron James. Are they going to be able to step up? Are the young guys going to be able to shine? Who's going to be the one to step up? Who's going to take on that alpha number 1, number 2 roles? So I was thinking, okay, Rondo's going to play. The next game up was versus the Kings. And the Kings they were right there pushing for a playoff spot. There were only 2 losses behind us before this game. And then I come to find out that Rajon Rondo strained a finger or something, a middle finger. I don't know, flipping somebody off, maybe. Who knows? But he wasn't going to be available for this game. So I'm like, wow, there goes our veteran leadership right there. There goes that guy that I felt we needed to have to calm us down, keep us going, whatever. So now I'm like, okay, all right, this is going to be a true test now. This is going to be a true test of, can the young guys step up? Can they handle this? Can they go without LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, also missing JaVale McGee? He's still, recovering from being sick. He did warm up from what I heard, but, of course, they wanted to slowly bring him back into things. So, all right, so the game started. Sacramento Kings. At first, they start punching us in the mouth. I mean, they just started looking like they're about to just tear us apart. They get up really early by, I think, 12, 13, 14 points, something like that. It looks like it's about to be over. It looks like the young guys just not ready for it, not about to step up. It looked like it was about to be just hopeless. And then, guys, let me sip on some tea. I need some more tea for this. Wait up. Mm. Uh. All right. And then we started playing. We started playing. We started coming back. The young guys, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram. We started showing what we got. They said, wait a minute. No, no, no. Look, I'm here. I said, we don't have LeBron James, but guess what? I'm Brandon Ingram. I'm Kyle Kuzma. I'm Lonzo Ball. These guys, each one of them started just doing their thing. Not just them. Um, you know, Hart. Hart was playing great defense. I mean, I'm going to get into each one of these stats. I'm going to talk about each one of these players that I'm talking about. I'm going to go over the details of how they played and what were their overall stats and their impact of the game. Overall, guys, look, spoiler again, we did not win the game. It was actually a heartbreaker game. I'm going to go ahead and let you know that now if you did not watch the game. The Lakers were just rolling. Young guys were playing. I'm going to get to how we lost in a little bit, but let's go back to the first quarter here. So let's talk about some stats. So we end up losing the game 117 to 116. Like I said, I'll get into that in a few minutes. All right, but let's go over some stats. All right. So first of all, in this game, Kyle Kuzma was the number one guy, stepped up, balling in the first half, was just scoring. I mean, doing his thing. Brandon Ingram, also impressed with him. Actually, I was impressed with every one of the young guys tonight for the most part. Kyle Kuzma, let's go over his stats, okay? So he ended up having 33 points. 33 points. He was 12 for 24 field goals. I mean, that's a lot of field goals. That sounds like Kobe Bryant right about now, right? But he needed to take those field goals. We needed him taking those, all right? And he's efficient at it. He was 50%, 12 out of 24. I'll take that every day. Now, he was only he was only 2 for 8 3-point shooting. I mean, we can do better on that. That's only 25%. Overall, though, I mean, like I said, he had 33 points. He had 9 rebounds and 4 assists in 40 minutes of play. Damn good. That's what we need for him stepping up. Imagine if he had been playing, LeBron wasn't there and it's his second year. I really, really think Kyle would have been having these kind of breakout numbers. I think he would have been averaging somewhere around 22 to 25 points a game if he had been there without LeBron James, which, I want LeBron James to be there. We need to make these playoffs. We probably would not have made the playoffs if LeBron was not there. Kyle was just scoring 22 to 25 points a game. He would have been getting his stats and he would have been getting that notoriety. Yeah, but we ain't worried about that. We worried about these Lakers W's, these wins. That's what we want. Next up, Brandon Ingram. He ended up having 22 points. He was 8 of 19 shooting. He wasn't quite as efficient. He was good enough. He was 1 out of 4 3-pointers also. So again, 25%, and just okay. If we won, it would have got the job done. I think if he would have made one more 3-pointer, that would have been a W. But anyway, he still had a great game. He stepped up. He showed, what I wanted. So with that being said, right there, you got our number 1 and number 2 scorers that I was talking about. I said in the last podcast that we need a number 1 scorer, alpha. We need a number 2 guy to step up to take LeBron's place in those areas. Right now in that game, Kyle Kuzma was that number 1 guy. Even though Brandon Ingram was trying to be that number 1 guy, right now he's still number 2. Okay, so 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And yeah, look, I'm using my phone. I'm looking at the stats. All this stuff is just not ingrained in my head, but guess what? I'm trying to give you guys all the great, accurate stats here. I'm using my phone. ESPN. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so Ivica Zubac started this game, again, his 4th start. He didn't get as many minutes in this game. He started off, he was playing okay. He played in the first half for the most part, and then after that, he didn't really get much playing time. So he played 20 minutes. He ended up having just 6 points, 3 of 8 field goals, 5 rebounds. I think he had a block or two. Nothing big. Then Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball stepped up. I mean, I've been waiting for him to step up and break out, show what he got. He did it this game. I mean, look, the guy had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 12 assists and 9 rebounds. Wow. They actually took a rebound away from him because in the game it showed he had 10 rebounds, and that would have gave him a triple-double. But now that I'm looking back at these stats, apparently one of the rebounds they took from him, that's just sad because that would have been his 4th triple-double of the year. But either way, balling out. Look, he was 4 out of 6 3-pointers, and it started off he missed his first 3-pointer. It looked bad, and I thought, oh man, it's going to be another one of those games where Lonzo Ball just throws up 7 3-pointers and bricks them all. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it did run through my mind. Because the last game before this one against Golden State, he was 0 for 7 3-pointers. So, I mean, I told you he was like roller coaster up and down. I mean, I hope he stays consistent is what I'm saying. But look, it showed tonight that he can shoot that 3-pointer. He was 4 out of 6, as I mentioned. He was 8 out of 13 field goals. So, efficient night, great shooting from the 3-point line. 12 assists, 9 rebounds, 20 points. Lonzo Ball. Look, that's what we thought we saw in you. That's what we thought we saw in him when we drafted him. So, I mean, he shows that he has some stuff. He has what it takes. And think about it. The guy is just 21 years old. I mean, there is so much potential, so much upside if he can just tap into that and hone into that and do that on a nightly basis. And the other thing about it, too, is he plays such great defense and tenacity he's showing. When he came out of college, no one thought he can shoot or he could play defense, and at least they were saying he wasn't a great defender. I think that's all changing now. I mean, we're seeing this guy, he just has these defensive instincts where he just seems to get to it. He's getting these deflections, he's getting these steals. He's long, he's 6'6", so he's going to get these blocks and deflections and things like that. He's going to disrupt these other players. And a lot of guards are 6'2" to 6'3", so he's going to be taller than most guards that he plays against. And he's, about the same height or taller than their 2 guards also. So he can switch. Then a lot of small forwards, there's some small forwards that are 6'7", some 6'6", things like that. So he can switch on them too. So, all right, so good game. Lonzo Ball almost had a triple-double. They took it away from you. Woo, you'll get it next time. It's all good. All right, so next, Josh Hart. Josh Hart started in a place of LeBron James not being there. Josh Hart ended up having 10 points. He played 33 total minutes. Josh Hart played well. For him, that's right about what we're going to get from him, what we want from him. He's going to get us 10 to 15 points, sometimes 20. In this game, he got us 10. He ended up hitting big shots when we needed it, some 3-pointers when we needed it, where he was 2 out of 3. And 3-point shooting, he was 4 out of 8 overall. 33 minutes, decent game. He had a couple nice plays. He had this good steal, I believe, in the second quarter. Had a steal for a fast break, and this is when we were trying to get back in the game. We came back from a 14-point or so deficit, got us right back. He made a score. I mean, things like that. He was doing the little things. He had 3 total steals. I mean, that just shows right there. Just doing it, playing well for us, playing defense. Lonzo Ball ended up having 2 steals, which I didn't mention, and he actually had 1 block, along with Josh Hart had a block also. So, played all right. Although I'm just noticing that even though Josh did have a good effect from my eye test looking at him, watching the game, he played well to me. However, the plus minus shows that he was a negative 13 in this game. I did not know that, so that's interesting right there. And I'll get to probably why that's a negative 13 with the starters. We'll talk about it here in a moment. Got to sip some more tea for that. All right, as you guys can see, I'm a Pisces. Look, all you Pisces out there, hey, look, you guys are the best. Now the rest of you guys out there, y'all cool too. Yeah, all right, but Pisces, look, got my tea. Get your Pisces. See that fish right there. All right. All right, enough about that. Enough about me. Let's back to this podcast and this YouTube video. All right, so the rest of the team, we had Tyson Chandler came in, played some good backup center minutes. He was 4 out of 4 field goals, 3 out of 3 free throws, or correction, 3 out of 4 free throws. He ended up having 10 rebounds. He was a +7 in this game, 11 points. Stevenson played 19 minutes in this game, and he had a good impact also. He had 10 points. He was a +9 in this game. He ended up shooting 4 of 8 field goals. He was 1 of 4 from 3-point range. So, all right. So let me just tell the tale. Let's talk about the game. All right. So most of this game, I'm gonna let you know, I was so excited. I mean, not the first 3-4 minutes of the game I wasn't, because we got down by 14 or so points. I thought it was over. And then we started playing. We started playing defense. We came back. We end up, breaking that lead down. We end up taking the lead. We end up getting up by 10, 14 or so points ourselves. And I'm thinking, yes, I started getting excited. I'm like, look, I can't wait. As soon as this game is over, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to talk about every player, all the young players stepped up just like I wanted it. I was already thinking in my head. I was already going over exactly what I was going to say, how excited I was going to be. And then the fourth quarter came, and it seemed like we still were balling. We still were playing well. And then at one point, I will say, though, Luke Walton, I was kind of like, hey, he took, in the fourth quarter, I thought he was slow to get guys like Brandon Ingram back in the game. At about 9-minute mark, I saw Sacramento started to cut into our lead. And we had, at one point, we brought one of our G League guys in there, one of our two-way contract, Alex Caruso, which he's a decent guy. He's all right. Played a few minutes to give a little relief, because we, like Josh Hart had a little foul trouble, and also Lonzo Ball was getting cramps in his knee. So he came in to kind of help out and dispel some minutes. However, at one point, I'm like, all right, that's enough. He played 3-4 minutes. Get, other guys back in there. Get Brandon Ingram, whoever. Josh Hart, bring him back in. I don't care. We got to bring the A-team back in, right? So, hey, I thought he was a little slow in doing that. But eventually, at one point, I think he brought Brandon Ingram in, but then he took Kyle Kuzma out. I'm like, man, okay, what are you doing? And he waited a few minutes, and then he brought them both back in, played them at the same time. But, Lakers just started showing that's where they lacked the leadership in the fourth quarter. They just started Sacramento just started coming back, hitting threes, fast breaking, getting steals. We were getting turnovers. One of the things I think that really spelled our doom was in the fourth quarter, we started playing more isolation ball. This is where they would give it to Brandon Ingram, and he would start just hold on and dribble the ball out at the top of the key, wait the clock down, and then try to break down the defender and dribble past him and try to do something like that. And come on. All right, so let me just talk about this for a second. Brandon Ingram. Love you, man. Hey, good player. One day you may be that breakdown one-on-one guy and be able to score on anybody. But right now, you're not that. You're not that yet. I understand that you're trying to get there, and then you got to work on it. In a live game, you got to do it. Maybe keep. I don't know. I can't tell you to stop doing it, but what I am going to say is when it's crunch time and it's the fourth quarter, and don't do it every play. You know what I mean? Let's work the ball around. Let's play to our strengths. Move the ball around. Keep it moving. Okay, if you see a weakness or somebody that's on you, a smaller player, somebody that you can take, go for it. But that's what I saw in this game. I saw in the fourth quarter we started doing that, and it was once or twice where they got a turnover off us where the ball rolled off of Ingram's leg or something when he went to go try to do a move after he'd held it for a while. Turnover. Sacramento came down. They scored. All right. Next time up, they kind of did the same thing. All right, give it to Ingram, hold the ball for a little bit. He tries to drive, and he's everything he's doing, he's working hard for. I mean, he doesn't look easy, you know. He'll dribble to the left and dribble to the legs and go to the right, and the defender's right there. He didn't go anywhere. And then he kind of gets around them, and then he tries a shot and he misses it. They get the rebound and they go back. They end up scoring. All right, so Kyle Kuzma, then they gave it to him, and he ended up scoring. So let's fast forward now to the last couple minutes of the game. Sacramento end up coming back and getting the lead at one point. They take a 1-point lead, and then we end up at one point the score ended up getting tied. It went back and forth, and then we tied a score, or they tied a score, and then at one point they give it to Kyle Kuzma. And I think it's about a minute left in the game, and he kind of, this time he has the ball at the top, kind of like to the corner of the top of the key. And he ended up just hitting a three-pointer right in one of the defender's face. I was like, thank you. Yes, that gave us a 3-point lead. Okay, all right, now let's just see what we can do. We weren't able to hold that. We weren't able to stop them from scoring. They end up scoring. They end up, at one point, they end up tying the game. And then with seconds left in the game, they had opportunities. They had a point where the score was tied, and it came down, and they were scuffling. They had a couple shots right at the basket. Luckily for us, they ended up missing both of them. Eventually, we get the ball. We were up by 1 point at that time, actually. So then Brandon Ingram gets the ball. He gets fouled. There's only there's like 4-something seconds left, maybe 5 seconds left when he gets fouled. We're up by 1 point. And this is where, all right, guys, so we're the worst free throw shooting team in the league, I believe, right now. We might have came up one spot or something like that, but we've been the worst free throw shooting team. And so Brandon Ingram goes to the free throw line. I'm thinking, okay, of course we know them. Crunch time, up by 1, we gotta make both. We're at their home court. We can't let them have a shot to possibly win this game. Gotta make both. The first one, he shoots it. It kind of bounces up, and it looks like it may go out, and then it settles in. I was like, whoo, all right, thank you. Thank you. Made that first one. Now just make this next one. Come on, don't get nervous. Come on, let's do it. Show what you got. He shot the next one, and not so much. He ended up bricking it, missing that. The other team, Sacramento, gets the rebound, and unfortunately, they had a timeout, so they call a timeout. They got 4.3 seconds left, and so now they have a chance to win the game. And what are we going to do? And I'm nervous by this time. Now I'm thinking, am I going to do this podcast after this game is over? Am I going to talk about this right after? Because if you don't know, as I mentioned, I've been a Lakers fan for forever, for 30 years, since I was 12 years old. If you go back and listen to some of my earlier podcasts, which you can find on Spotify, by the way, let me just give a little plug on that. You can find on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, Apple Play, all that. Lakers Talk with Gerald. You see me, please just go take a listen and let me know. But hey, look, I talked about how my earlier days when I watch the Lakers, when we lose, I'm upset for the whole day. It just throws my mood off. I'm not happy. It's hard for me to calm down. So I was telling myself that, if we lost, I knew I wasn't going to do it right after that. I was going to have to just sleep on it, wait for this morning, and hence, why I'm doing it this morning. So going back to the game, it was 4.3 seconds left. So timeout. We come back. In the game, we have Tyson Chandler at center. We have Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and Lonzo Ball. And so they take the ball out, and immediately they bring their center. There's Bogdanovich, and who's a forward, I believe, and then their center both come up towards the top of the key. Look like they're gonna both try to come get the ball. And Tyson Chandler, and it was actually we didn't have Harden there. We had I believe it was Caldwell Pope. And then what happened was when both of those players for the Kings came up towards the top of the key, somehow Tyson Chandler and Caldwell Pope got the signals mixed up, and they switched on their players. So then what happened is the center cut back down towards the basket, and then Caldwell Pope somehow just said, "Okay, I'll jump on the center." And then so Tyson Chandler was like, "Oh, I got to take Bogdanovich." If I can say his name right, I apologize for messing it up. Tyson Chandler took Bogdanovich, followed him towards his three-point line. As soon as that happened, I'm like, okay, that's already a breakdown. What's happening? They give it to Bogdanovich. He dribbles, and then Tyson Chandler kind of tries to go with him. He goes up to the top of the key. He looks like he's about to drive, and then he does that step back, shoot the ball, and I see Tyson Chandler slow to recover, and the guy gets a clean shot. Then Tyson's arm kind of comes, and as soon as he shoots it, I'm thinking like, I'm looking, he shoots, and I'm like, is that going to go in? Swoosh. And all I could do was just sit there. It was about 5 minutes before I moved. It was about 5 minutes before I even, I just had to calm myself down. I had to kind of just, then I was like, okay, after about 5 minutes, I mean, it took a minute for I could really, really think about, like, okay, what's the positive? They had a great game. All the guys came through, but at the end of the day, it's a loss. It's a heartbreaking loss. We played great for 90% of the game. That 10%, that's all it takes. All it takes is just one or two mistakes or bad plays, and you can lose the game. I mean, that's the NBA. I mean, we got all these great players in the NBA. That's all it takes. That's all it takes is that one slip up. You could have played the greatest games. I mean, Kyle Kuzma and Ingram could have both had 50 points each. Lonzo Ball could have had a quadruple double. And if we still would have lost by one, it doesn't mean a whole lot. It's still a loss. And so now, all right, guys, let's regroup now. What does this mean for the Lakers, okay? So I talked about it before. Western Conference is just so tight. So tight. So now that takes us to 15 losses. All right, guys, so let's take a look and see where we're at in the Western Conference. And let's think about what we got going forward. I mean, I'm going to take this as an encouraging sign from all the young guys. They did play well. Hoping they can learn from this. I'm hoping that that's saying that, hey, going forward, we can hold our own. I mean, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. All right, so let's look at the standings right now in the Western Conference. That takes our record to 20-15. We're in 5th place now. Ahead of us is the Clippers at 20-14. The great thing is we play them next. We play them at home at the Staples Center. Clippers are actually a good team right now, so they're going to be just as tough as Sacramento, if not tougher. So we're really going to have to be on our A game if we want to get this win. But we have a shot. We're playing Western Conference teams, so our destiny is in our own hands. So 20-15, but the problem is this. All right, so that's 5th place. 6th place is Portland, who actually has the same record as us. We just happen to have I guess we have the advantage because we beat them twice or so. We may have a better division or conference record, something like that. So they're tied with us at 6. Houston is right in 7th place after that at 19-15. They had only one less loss than us, or one less win than us, that is. Sacramento, because they beat us, they're now 19-16. That's only one game behind us. San Antonio, 9th place, out of the playoffs, is 19-16 also, tied with Sacramento. And then you have Memphis Grizzlies, right after them, only have one less loss than San Antonio at 18-16. That's, I mean, a game and a half behind us in the standings. And then Dallas is 16 and 17. That's only two and a half games behind us in the standings. We cannot afford to lose these close games like this, games that we are supposed to win, not in the Western Conference. I mean, and then right after them is Utah. I mean, guys, it goes on and on. The Western Conference is the wild, wild West. So with that, guys, look, we're gonna have to be playing our best ball. If LeBron is going for 10 to 15 games, even if we go, think about it, even if we play great without LeBron James and we go 10-5 in those 15 games, we would be probably sitting out of a playoff spot. I'm just gonna be real with it right here because it's that tough. Or we might just be, if we, and that's the best case scenario. 10-5 without LeBron, that's best case. A realist best case scenario. I mean, best case scenario is we're right above, or average is right above 500. Right above 500 is not going to get it done in the Western Conference. However, I feel that if we are about that, even though we might drop in the standings, maybe right out of the playoff spot, that'll give us enough, though, when LeBron comes back to get, with LeBron back, we'll be able to win some games and get back in there and be able to make these playoffs. And so, guys, hey, with that said, positivity going forward. Young guys kept stepping up, playing great, playing outstanding. Leadership didn't hold up. We faltered at the end. They got lucky and hit a three-pointer. We lost the game, but be encouraged. Lakers are young guys are stepping up. Looking forward to the next game, to the next review against the Clippers. Hey, guys, see you next time. And hang with me. Please go to my YouTube channel, Lakers Talk with Gerald. Subscribe. Listen to me on Spotify, iTunes, podcast, one of those two, Lakers Talk with Gerald. You can find me on any one of those ones. Appreciate you. I am out.